Welcome back, everybody, to the Fantasy Hockey Hacks YouTube channel. I don't know what's going on, Bruce. 3 times I had to press go live, but here we are. I'm Devon,
Deja vu.
your host. With me, as always, my co-host, Bruce Gunther. We are a proud member of the Hockey Podcast Network and the official podcast of Left Wing Lock. If you haven't listened to our podcast, go check it out. It's on Spotify, it's on Apple, it's on all the podcast directories. Lots of good content over there. New episodes every week. Bruce, let's get into it. We've got, we'll do as every day, NHL Today, we'll do our game preview for tonight's game, the Western Conference Final, Game 2 against the Oilers and the Avs, and, of course, do our game recap for last night's game. That didn't quite go down, I think, the way most people drew it up. What do you think?
I'm one of them. The way I drew that up, it definitely didn't go that way. I had the right amount of goals for the Lightning, but I didn't have the right number for the Rangers.
I took the Rangers last night. I just had a feeling about the Rangers game 1 at home and Shesterkin, right? So, and then I think when we looked at the numbers, like I said yesterday, it just seemed like a good bet, especially at plus money. So
absolutely,
that's where I took that one. So yeah, big surprise, 6-2 win for the Rangers. They won the special teams battles. We talked yesterday about how, first goal, they need the first goal. They need to score on the power play because when the Rangers score on the power play, they're 8-2 in these playoffs. I think that's 9-2 now. And then, of course, Tampa was perfect when in the playoffs when their penalty kill was perfect. But they were they let one in last night. And then, of course, the Rangers were 3 for 3 on the penalty kill. They scored the first goal of the game just a minute 11 in.
It's a good sign.
Yeah, and so with that power play goal, the Rangers actually matched a franchise record 6 straight games in the playoffs on the power play. So that dates back to 1990, I think.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, so this team's doing some good things for them. Zibanejad was a monster again last night. He had 1 goal, 1 assist. He had that power play goal late in the game. He also had 7 shots on goal, and I think it was 9 shot attempts, 5 scoring chances, 2 high danger in just over 17 and a half minutes time on ice.
Not bad evening of work at all.
Yeah, so he's now 3rd overall in playoff scoring. He's just been ripping it up. Good things from him. You like this one, Heatlemania.
I know.
A little wrestling reference for you, Bruce.
Absolutely.
2 goals, 2 shots, 4 shot attempts, 4 scoring chances for. The kid line was good, right? Lafreniere had 2 assists, and I think Kakko had an assist as well.
Tyler'd love the ish on that one.
He loved the ish. He'd be all for it, yeah. Kreider stayed hot, 1 goal, 1 assist on just 1 shot. So I think Tyler liked the ish there too.
Definitely.
He played under 15 minutes for Kreider last night. That's surprising.
Well, that third line for the Rangers seems to be one that's doing all the damage. So it's Hedl, Kakko, and Lafreniere, if I remember correctly. They're the ones doing the damage for the Rangers right now. They're carrying the team, and the top 6 is kind of following in behind.
They've been really, really good. I'll be curious to see where Hedl goes next fantasy season, if he's going to get picked up in drafts or... I mean, truthfully, this has been a bit of a playoff heater, but I'm just curious to see how that whole thing plays out.
Be good for him if it carried over back to the regular season next year.
Yep. Oh, you're good for the Rangers and for Lafreniere and for Kakko.
Absolutely.
Panarin scored an anytime goal, so here's one of our prop bets yesterday at plus 275. Good to see there. 1 goal, 1 assist, 3 shots on goal, and 4 shot attempts for him. Played just about 20 minutes. Steven Stamkos, he was good for the Tampa Bay Lightning last night. 1 goal, 1 assist, 6 shots on goal, 7 shot attempts, 5 individual scoring chances, 4. Probably the big story here, Bruce, is Shesterkin outplayed Vasilevsky.
Yeah, and that surprised me a little to see that. I expected Vasilevsky to be in second round form, and it was more first round form. So we'll have to see if they can shore that up for the next game.
Well, and again, we talked about it yesterday. Shesterkin has superior numbers in the playoffs at home. Last night, 37 saves, 2 goals against average, a .949 save percentage, and a 2.20 goals saved above expected. Conversely, Vasilevsky, Bruce, 22 saves, 5.91 goals against average, an .815 save percentage, and negative 2.55 goals saved above expected.
That's ugly.
That's rough
that's ugly for most goalies. For Vasilevsky, that's really ugly.
Yeah. Did you catch the Igor's better chance?
Yeah, I heard that. I thought that was awesome.
Well played, New York fans. Well played.
Absolutely.
The Rangers improved to 7-1 at MSG in these playoffs. Just a little FYI there. And then it sounds like the Lightning are actually potentially or probably going to be without Braden Point for the Eastern Conference Final.
Yeah, that would make sense if it's any kind of knee injury. That would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, so big blow there for the Lightning. I guess with that, Bruce, we can just move on to our game preview for tonight. Because why not?
Yeah.
So like I said, we've got the Edmonton Oilers and the Colorado Avalanche. We'll get a chance to see some 80s hockey again tonight. Plus 145 on the money line for the Oilers, minus 165 on the money line for the Avalanche. I've got some fun facts here for you, Bruce, before we roll into our predictions.
All right.
The team that wins Game 1 of the conference finals advances 69% of the time. With a team going up 2-0, that percentage jumps to 93%, 91-7 all time in the playoffs.
Wow.
So this game is an absolute must-win for the Oilers. If they go down 2-0, I'm going to call it right now. This series is done.
I don't know if it would be done, but it just makes it a little tougher. That's all.
You're right, Bruce, but I'm still going to say it's done. If they go down 2-0, I think they're in big trouble, but we'll see.
Oh, they'd be going home then, right? So they play the next two at home. So that worked out well for them in the previous series. So it could do the same thing here, but definitely they're going for the split. Well,
like the old saying goes, right? You're never in trouble until you lose at home. So I mean, if they do go down 2-0, for sure they got a chance. It's just improbable as it may be. This is fun too. Game 1 was the most watched Western Conference final game since 1999. They had 1.8 million viewers in the U.S. That's up 8. This is on TNT, so this is U.S. numbers. This doesn't include Sportsnet. But their numbers for this Game 1 were up 87% over the Western Conference Final Game 1 in 2021, which featured the Canadiens and Golden Knights. This was the most watched Oilers game on cable all time in the U.S.
That is fantastic.
That's crazy to me. Like, given that, like, how good the 80s Oilers were, and with Gretzky, and this is still the most watched game ever.
Yeah. Well, you got to remember, hockey is a distant, third or fourth sport in the U.S.
Yeah.
You got NFL, NBA, college ball. That all comes before the NHL in the U.S. So it's not really that surprising.
Okay.
Baseball's probably in there before the NHL too.
Oh yeah, for sure it is. Yeah, hockey is like it's a distant fourth, right? I mean, honestly, but in Canada, it's like a religion. So
in Canada, it's number one for sure.
Draisaitl and Nurse were not on the ice for the morning skates, but they're not expecting any lineup changes. That's nothing new. They're just giving him some time to rest up, obviously.
Yeah.
Ryan Rashog mentioned. Glue everything back together. I tape Nurse back together. I don't know what to do with a core muscle injury, but they'll try and get him up and running. Ryan Rashog from TSN mentioned that Philip Broberg was on the ice with the main group this morning, and there is a chance that they may go 11-7 tonight. I think personally, Bruce, that's probably a great idea. I think his speed would be welcome into the lineup. I think with Nurse not being 100%. And, a guy like Keith, who isn't the fleetest of foot compared to what he used to be, do you think it would hurt to have a guy like Broberg in the lineup?
No, I don't think so at all. It also gives them some options with, you look at McDavid and Nuge and Draisaitl, you can move those guys into the bottom six too. Although that bottom six did a pretty nice job for them the other night there too. So
they did. Actually, I heard, I think it was on Oilers Now yesterday, they said that was the first game the fourth line had scored for the Oilers. So they got production from everybody.
That's great. They're going to need it.
They will. The other thing of note, there's no update on Andre Burakovsky, so we don't know if he's going to play. I think he took a shot. He blocked a shot from Evan Bouchard, I believe it was.
Oh, I felt for that guy. I saw him block that shot, and before he even went down, I went, ew, and Tommy goes, what? I said, the Colorado player limping to the right or falling into a lump on the right, and that's where he was when the Oilers scored, was in a lump in the corner.
That one stung for sure.
And he came back though. That's a good sign.
It's hard to keep hockey players off the ice in playoff time.
Exactly, right.
The Avs netminders, so it sounds like Darcy Kemper is out, and Pavel Francouz has been confirmed by Jared Bednar. Francouz has a 3.59 goals against average, an 889 save percentage, and a negative 1.81 goals saved above expected in 3 games during these playoffs. There's a real opportunity here, Bruce, right, for the Oilers to do something special with Francouz there as opposed to Kemper.
Oh yeah, they got to get on him early and often. They got to make him very uncomfortable back there. They can make him uncomfortable and possibly chase him. Then they get to the third string guy. Although I've read good things about him, but hey, it's the Western Conference Finals of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yeah,
and he's a young guy too, so they can chase Francouz. That would be big for them.
Yeah, for sure. And then we've got Mike Smith going for the Oilers again. He was confirmed this morning by Jay Woodcroft. Not a big surprise. You and I talked about this yesterday. Smith has bounced back historically in game 2s, or I shouldn't say historically, but in these playoffs, he's bounced back in game 2s. And so his numbers here in game 2 versus the Kings, 30 save shutout, 2.05 goals saved above expected. Game 2 versus Calgary, 37 saves, 3.00 GAA, and a 925 save percentage. So some good things there from him. And I think in game 3, he's going to be tough to post a shutout. But I mean, if he can be better than he was in game 1, I think the Oilers have a chance here.
Oh, most definitely. They're going to need Smith to be at his best because the Avalanche are also going to come fast and hard at him too, and they're going to try and do to him tonight what they did to him the other night. And
yeah,
if the defense can't slow him down, Smith could be on the bench by the middle of the second period again.
Yeah, so us as Oilers fans, Bruce, we really hope that's not the case, but it's a real possibility. Looking at game 1, the 5-on-5 numbers, it was pretty much all Colorado. 55, almost 56 Corsi for percentage. They outshot Edmonton 43-28, and they outchanced Edmonton 40-24. And then, of course, they outscored them 6-5. So I guess the good things there, if you're the Oilers, you did post 5 even strength goals or 5-on-5 goals on Kemper and Francouz the other night. So they did some good things. If they can just tighten things up on defense and a better performance from Smith, I think they'll probably be okay.
They need a big performance from Smith, and they need to tighten up the defense, or it's going to be a long night for them again.
I think Edmonton here is also their 6-1 when scoring the first goal in these playoffs. So I mean that's going to be huge if they can get the first goal again. It didn't work out for them the other night, but you want to start off on a good note, and that would be ideal for them. And then for the Avs, they said they need some steady goaltending from Francouz and just continue their strong 5-on-5 play. So not a really nothing earth shattering for the Avs. So
no,
I actually changed my pick, Bruce. I was thinking about it some more. I did. I'm going to go with the Oilers tonight, mostly because it's more fun to bet on your own team and for the underdog. And as if you're betting at plus 145 on the money line, it's definitely there's some more juice on this bet. I would also take the over. It was set at 7 on DraftKings. So
I would too.
At minus 130, they're pretty sure it's going to go over 7. I would definitely tend to agree with that. It was set at 7.5 last night, and they changed it today to 7. So anyway, but I think the Oilers, they're going to play desperate. They have to. If they go down 2-0, they are in big trouble. And unless you change your pick without letting me know, I think you're going to the Avs tonight.
I'm still sticking with Colorado. Yeah, I think it's going to be another long night for Smith in the net.
Yeah, I was going to go there. I mean, if they go down 2-0, this will be the first real adversity they faced, I think. And like they've had things happen during these playoffs, but they haven't been down 2-0, right? So
yeah. Well, we'll know about the first 5 or 6 minutes into the game if the Oilers are going to let the Avalanche do to them tonight what they did to them in the first 8 minutes of game 1. Then yeah, it's going to be a long night for Smith because he's not going to see a lot of stuff coming.
All right, to date, 61, just over 61% for myself. My record, Bruce, you're at 52% on the season. Let's talk prop bets here. Starting with some shot props. I'm going to go back to Nazem Kadri. We picked him the other day at over 3.5 shots on goal. We'll go back to him again. They're still giving him plus money, barely, but they're giving him plus money here. 9 shots on goal, 11 shot attempts in game 1, and he's averaging 3.9 shots on goal and 7.3 shot attempts per game in the postseason. Zach Hyman, over 3.5 shots on goal at plus 120. He has a team leading 56 shots on goal, Bruce. So he's averaging over 4 shots a game, and he's third on the team in shot attempts at 86.
Yeah, that's a good one to go.
For sure. And then goal props. I'm going back to Kadri again for an anytime goal, plus 180. He had 9.6 goals in his last 10 regular season games versus the Edmonton Oilers, and he did score in game 1 as well. I think he could do some more damage tonight, so I would bet on Kadri
so too.
To pot one for sure.
Definitely.
And then Evan Bouchard, anytime goal, plus 500. So this one's pretty juicy as a prop bet, and he's 4th on the Oilers in shot attempts with 75. He had 2 points versus LA in game 2, and he scored in game 2 against Calgary. So he's typically like the rest of the Oilers bounce back in the second game of the series, and I'm going to bet on him to do that again tonight. I want to see a Bouch bomb, or at least hurt somebody before it gets to the net.
Burakovsky will have his new armored ankle in place. He'll be good to go.
There you go. There was no goalie save props on DraftKings this morning when I checked, so we'll just skip right over to DFS Picks for the evening. Not really any explanation needed here. I'm going to go back to Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. $11,000 for Connor, $9,000 for Leon. I'm going to go with Evan Bouchard just because we've talked about Makar lots. I'm not sure if you went with Makar again on D, Bruce. That's obviously the smart play. I have him in my showdown lineup as well. So, but anyway, Bouchard tonight, $6,200, 9.5 fantasy points per game. Mike Smith to bounce back at $9,400, and Arturi Lehkonen just because I like his lineup placement in the top 6. And then my showdown lineup is McDavid, Draisaitl, Makar, Nichushkin, Burakovsky, and Lehkonen. Now that's assuming Burakovsky actually plays.
Yeah.
If not, ignore that.
Yeah. In my lineup, I picked Colorado, so a little Colorado heavy, but McDavid is center. I went Mikko Rantanen is wing. He kind of woke up a little bit in game 1. He's been quiet in the playoffs here, but he woke up here in the first game, so I'm expecting that to continue. Of course, I'm picking Cale Makar Cale Makar. Have Pavel Francouz as my goalie because I think he's the only starting goalie that's going to be left at the end of the night. I'm predicting kind of a rough night for Mr. Smith. And for utility, Mr. Compher, he has had 4 goals in his last 2 games, so we're going to ride that one out tonight, see if he can get another one. My showdown lineup, McDavid, Makar, Kadri, Hyman, Compher, and Burakovsky if he plays. If not, we'll have to make a last-minute change.
Yeah, and if not, there's going to be guys like New Hook or somebody on that third line you can probably throw in there. And I think for my lineup, I might go to Compher. I think I had room to put Compher in if Burakovsky wasn't there, so that's a good option too. Okay, that does it for another live stream here, Bruce. For everyone watching or watching the replay, check us out on Twitter at FH Hacks, on Instagram at Fantasy Hockey Hacks. Check out the podcast, like I mentioned. FantasyHockeyHacks.com is our website for more hockey-related content, fantasy hockey-related content. And then be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And we will see you guys again tomorrow. Bruce, thanks again, my friend. We'll talk to you soon.
You bet. See you tomorrow.
Take care.